Well, good morning, team. Listen, it is a wonderful day here at the water park. Look at that. We're supposed to actually have some crazy storms this afternoon, so I thought before it gets crazy, and I got here early to the park, I'm gonna shoot some video about something. We're at the tube slide complex, and there's something interesting that I kind of have a project for myself that I want to do. I want to see if you notice this. Okay, so here's the green slide. Okay. All right, you see how all these colors are the same, right? Well, look at the black slide, though. See this thing right here? There's another one right there. And then there's one that's red, right? The black one has one, right? So, what is this? All right, well, you can see there's actually wires. When we first bought the attraction, we had this thing installed in here. It was part of the attraction called slideboarding. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave a link up here for you. You can watch our buddies from Two Brides, Our colleagues from Two Brides actually came over from the other side of the pond and rode it. And you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. For lack of a better, real quick, what it does is each one of these guys here has a light panel inside, an LED light panel. You would start at the top, riding this board, and essentially, if you guys remember the old Guitar Hero where the buttons were different colors, and when the little dots would come down on a corresponding color, you hit the correct button, right? Okay, so it's almost the same thing, except on the board it had two sides, two handles, and you had two color buttons on each side. So I think this side was blue and red, the other one was green and yellow or something like that. So whenever you would pass these panels, there's actually 20 of them. There's one, like I said, there's one here, there's one there, and then this one right here. When you would pass under it, the light would actually be emitting a specific color, and you would hit that on your board for the corresponding color, and you would actually get a score. We used to have TVs and a big old sink, we called it a sink station, and all this craziness here. Unfortunately, it just never took off, and it was a little bit problematic. Mostly the boards were really heavy. It was a cool concept, it just unfortunately never really it just never really hit. Okay, so I don't believe there's a lot of these installs. I think there's only 13 installs total from the company. Whitewater made this attraction. And most, I think there's one still operating, but most have kind of just let it sit. Now, one thing that's interesting is most people let it sit, but they also just leave everything on, because on the inside, if you don't, it's just open hole. So we're going to go inside the slide. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Here, let's get in there. My camera is actually a lot better than I was expecting it to be in this dark slide. Let's see. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I'm a little surprised. All right. So anyway, see this guy down here? It's pretty big. My camera's not doing it justice as far as how big it is. Let me see. It's like, my foot's a foot. So that's one. It's like 4 feet, okay? And it sits right here. I'm gonna sit down. Hopefully I don't bust my tail. All right. So it sits here. Oh, well, there's one installed right there. See it? Okay. So that guy has an LED panel in it, and I took it out of this one. And this is the panel, right? So when you're sliding down the slide, once you pass the panel or you get close to it, the closer you are, the better score you get, okay? I don't actually know how that works, but nonetheless, yeah. So, yes, we actually don't have the boards anymore, and as you can see, the lights aren't even on. Now, I want to go up the slide. A lot of times the way these LEDs work is even if they're not getting data, they will actually still emit some kind of color light. So let's see if we get lucky. So you can see the LEDs. See them? What's that number say? 16, I don't know. Okay, you can actually see the LEDs in there, and these are full. Inside of it, they are, what do you call it? They're fully addressable LEDs, because this was set up as a matrix, and it would show like images on it too. Let's see if there's power going to any of them. I don't think so. Oh no! Great, I dropped my GoPro. My other one, at least. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything lit up. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything lit up. Yeah. Nada. Okay. So that means there's probably no power going to them. I do believe Legend turned off all the power to them, which is okay. Let me grab my phone or my camera. Let's go back down to the end, okay? All right, so, whoops, let me put that away real quick. Okay. Now, down in there is a lot of the control lights. Well, actually I ripped a lot of it out now. Forgot about that. Anyway, well, here's my idea. I'm gonna, well, for those that watch my Christmas stuff, I am possibly looking at going into pixels. So I've been testing some. Well, I have this little pixel controller at home now. So I'm gonna see if I can actually make this little light panel work. So, join me on this. I'm gonna actually take you all the way home first, and then I'm gonna show you, because I already have the panel at the house. So, once we get home, I'll show you a little bit what I'm doing for Christmas. If you are interested in what I do for Christmas, you can actually look at the link right up there and see one of my videos. Sounds good, right? I think you're gonna enjoy it. All right, let's go home. Good evening, team. Welcome to my indoor workshop. Ooh. All right, back at home. Like I said, I have one of the panels. So here's one of those panels I was talking about. Okay. A couple notes. So this is the controller of the system. Okay, of this panel. All right, you'll see right here it says control 1 through 8, control 9 through 16. That'll be important. It says power, right? 5 volts DC. That'll be very important here in a little bit. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And then RS-485. That's the data coming in. Now, the board, like I said, this is a teensy 3.2, I believe. It's a little microcontroller. I found a bit of information about it, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to hack it. But the way the board is working is, see this SD card? On this SD card is loaded up basically video files, but they're in a very special format that are made for the teensy to not only read, but then output. And then what it does, based on controls 1 through 8, 9 through 16, it's set up in what we call a matrix, okay? So these LEDs that are in here, let's get some light. Whoa, that's too much light. You can see the LEDs, right? Okay. Now, while I was tearing apart the board, because I'm, want to see what's going on, I figured out that the way it runs, well, let's look at this real close. All right. So you see right here, coming to this control board, or this, it's just a distro board technically. You see you got red, yellow, green, right? So it's hard to tell, but you have red, yellow, green right here, and green goes all the way to the board. But on this one, it doesn't. You only get power. See that? You only get, so green is the data signal that sends to each one of these little LEDs when to turn on and off and what color. These are programmable LEDs. I think there's addressable, excuse me, they're addressable. They kind of work off DMX, so the first light is going to be channels 1, 2, 3 with RGB. So channel 1R, channel 2 is G, channel B, or B is 3, right? These actually might be different. We'll see here in a minute. But if we follow all the way to the end of the line, you'll see it goes in, or it comes out of here. Data does, the green, see green? The data does, and comes back into this one. And then this one goes loopy. I was hoping that it was just going to keep, the data would just keep going. If that was the case, I'd be able to light up the whole board with one controller and set it up as a matrix using the system, the little programmer I'm using. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. Plus, like I said, it says right here controls 1 through 8. So there's 16 lines going that long ways, but technically there's 8 ports. So you have data 1, data 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where this is channel 1 front end, channel 1 back end, channel 2 front end, channel 3 back end. Okay, so I messed up the power cable because, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll just keep playing with it. Now the wires, I cut it off, but you'll see I've got 2 here. This is the same one, and they actually connect to these right here and right here. So what that's doing is it's sending the control or sending the data out through these lines. Now there's 8 lines in here, I think. Technically there's 10, but it's a shorty. So there's 8 lines in here. But what it is you have a ground and then data. So each one of these is individually an individual line from here to here, okay, or here and here. And I'll show you how I tested it and played with it here in a little bit. But I want to show you this thing real quick. Okay, back in my seat. Okay, this little controller I have, okay, this is an RGB2Go. It's a Duo from RGB2Go. It's a Duo to Go. I'm actually going to put their link in the description. This is a really cool kit that I bought. What it does, now there's a mess down here. I'll pick them up, maybe. These are addressable pixels. Okay, so this is a bunch. I know it looks dirty here, but don't worry, I'm going to clean it up here in a minute. Show you what it does. It'll be really cool. But with this little guy, well, it comes with 200 LEDs. This is a 2-port controller. It's running off a the microcontroller is an ESP 8266. Okay, you can set this little board up to be 12 volts or 5 volts. See that? Let's see, come on, where's it at? Focus. All right, well, anyway, it's set right there. Whenever you buy a kit, it comes with this power supply as well. This power supply happens to be a 12 volt, and whatever your output's going to be, or whatever you're bringing in, you need to make sure you have the correct LEDs, okay, voltage. These pixels happen to be 12 volt, so we're good there. We're good there. Now I'm gonna lay this out so we could see it. It's pretty cool. Oh, I got falling out there. But yeah, this is pretty cool, and you can control it with your phone, and you can control it with third-party software and make it dance to music. So give me a second, let me set it up. Okay, team, finally back. I had to work on this a little bit, but I think I figured it out. All right, so this is the control panel for these lights. Now the Duo to Go is preloaded with WLED. If you look it up, simple software to set up. It's really nice, and lots of videos on how to make this specific set work. So it's pretty cool. Right now it's showing a bit of an orange color, and I can come right here and I'm going to click green and white, or a white, right? And then I can actually do some what are they called? effects. So let's do some effects real quick. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, that was neat. That one. All right. So what's cool is, see the star up here? Boom, that star. If I click it, it's going to say it's being overridden. It's receiving data from this IP address, which is being brought from Xlights, which is a free software you can use to control your Christmas lights and stuff like that. I'm using it for my pixels. I'm working on it to possibly control the rest of my lights. Don't know how it's going to work. I'm still playing with it, but that's how my house is going to look. These two lines right here, there, those are my pixels, my pixel LEDs down there. Okay, I'm going to play a short bit of this so you can see what it looks like while it's playing with the music, and then I'm going to turn the music off and you can kind of get it in your head what the song is. Okay, all right, I'm going to click right there. All right, that should be enough. So I'm going to actually turn my volume down all the way. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike. Demonetized. All right, so if I keep going, you'll see it's going to have different effects. Pretty neat. It's going with this song right now, and you can actually see the rest of my lights for the house. Okay, pretty neat, huh? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Duo and I'm going to connect it to the panel. All right, let's take it out. Okay, team, couple notes. So I found out, or I figured out, that these LEDs, these little pixels, are 5 volt. Okay, so remember we talked about earlier, very important. This unit can do both 5 volt and 12 volt, but right now it is set up for 5 volt because my pixel line, the one on the floor over there, is 12 volt. So I'm actually leaving it at 12 volt, and then I'm giving it a separate power supply, which that's it right there. That's a 5 volt power supply. Now, whenever you're doing something like this, okay, you'll see right there it says GDV. Hopefully it'll show on the camera. Ground data voltage, right? So ground's always going to be for DC, right? So whenever you're doing this, though, because I'm using a different power supply, you have to ground everything. All the grounds need to be connected to each other. Not the voltage, just the ground, because the data has to be able to connect to it, right? So I have a little jumper here that goes to the board. I'm going to connect that in there. I wanted to show you something first before I really put this all together. And then it goes, here's the 5 volt ground. Okay, now here's the pigtail. This is the new one. It's going to be the right hand side of the board, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick it in the data hole and see if I get anything out of it. Give me 1 second. We'll try something real quick. Okay, back. So remember what I said, each one of these wires is going to control a pair right here because it's forward and back, right? So I'm going to stick it in and see if it'll light up. Now, a lot of times you really don't want to be doing hot swaps, but since this is just testing, I'm not really worried about it. Look at that. Okay. So I'm going to try and leave it in there without falling out. That fell out. I have a problem though, I see, but nothing too bad. But I'm going to slowly put it back in there. Oh, that one didn't light up. I wonder why. Let's see. That one didn't light up either. Interesting, interesting. That one lit up. Okay, you'll see not all the LEDs are lit up. I got to set it up in the system and tell it, hey, you have, I believe this one has 120 LEDs. It's so 60 on both lines. So let me get that set up real quick and figure out where the other LED lights are at. These are the ones here. Let me pull the other one real quick. So I know these are the right colors, and I thought they'd be the same on the other line, but I guess not. So let's see. Okay, see, there we go. Let's come back and do this one. Yep, that one's lit up. Gray. Yep, see? And then whatever color that is. Alright, so you could tell, now I've got these work, but the same color leads on the second line are not the same. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Alright, give me a minute. Okay, team, back at it. Yeah, it had a whole different color set of leads. Maybe I'm just blind. Now looking at it, they're the same ones. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm dumb. Okay. But anyway, as you can see, it's doing some pretty cool things. So the idea is this is proof of concept. I'm working on getting another one that has, instead of just 2 ports, it has full 8 ports, and that'll give me the ability to control it as a true matrix, and I can put words and picture, or like, you know, very simple stuff. It's the pixel size here is pretty high, crazy, okay, but enough to be able to at least kind of understand what you're trying to see on it. And then of course, give me a quick second here. The idea is to whoops, I played the music. Hopefully it doesn't pick it up too much. But yeah, it's going to be a little wonky because in X-Lights it's not set up correctly for this many LEDs per channel, but you could see, right? So yeah, it's doing some pretty cool stuff, and it's doing it to the music right now. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. We're going to try and put music down the slide, play it like that. That's the idea. Okay, I appreciate you guys sticking with me today. This was kind of a long one, but hope you enjoyed. This is kind of something different. It's not really slide related, but it kind of is. But it is definitely in the realm of my Christmas lights. I do have another channel. I will link it in the description below. It's called Lights on Legends Line. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Also, I have started a Discord server. Don't forget to join it. If you want to learn a little bit more, ask more questions, be more detailed with me, absolutely. I will link it down below as well for my Discord. Alright folks, we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Have a good night.